My boyfriend said he was working late every night to train his new assistant. I decided to surprise him with dinner at the office. The security guard's words changed everything. They always leave at 9. What I saw in the rain that night shattered 6 years of my life. Was I wrong to walk away without confrontation? Should I have said something? Please tell me honestly in the comments. I'm still processing this. She's really struggling, babe. I have to teach her absolutely everything from scratch. Marcus's text came through at 11:47 p.m. Again, 4th night this week, and it was only Thursday. Take your time. I know you're doing your best. Love you. I hit send and stared at the ceiling of our Chicago apartment, listening to rain tap against the windows. 6 years together, and I'd never doubted him, not once. Marcus Reed was the most dedicated person I knew, ambitious, driven, loyal to a fault. When he'd gotten the promotion to senior marketing director at Whitman and Associates 3 months ago, I'd been so proud of him. The late nights started 5 weeks ago, right after they hired someone new to his team. Brianna, I think her name was. Marcus had mentioned her in passing. Young, inexperienced, needed a lot of hands-on training. I feel bad for her, Marcus had said over our last real dinner together, maybe 3 weeks ago. She's so eager to learn, but she just doesn't have the foundation. I'm basically teaching her the job from the ground up. I squeezed his hand across the table. That's what makes you such a good manager. You actually care about developing your people. He'd smiled at me then, but now, lying alone in our bed at midnight, I realized I couldn't remember the last time that smile had reached his eyes. The pattern had become predictable. He'd leave at 7:30 a.m. with coffee and a distracted kiss, text around 6 p.m. saying he'd be late, another text at 9 p.m. saying, "Still here, so sorry." Then finally, he'd drag himself through the door between 11:30 p.m. and 1 a.m., smelling of stale office coffee and something I couldn't identify. Exhaustion, maybe, or guilt. I worked from home as a freelance graphic designer, so my schedule was flexible. I'd tried to be understanding, supportive. I'd taken over all the cooking, cleaning, grocery shopping. I made sure he had clean clothes and a stocked fridge. But I missed him. God, I missed him. We barely spoke anymore. When he came home, he was too tired for conversation. Our sex life had evaporated. He was always too exhausted, stressed, overwhelmed. Even on weekends, he seemed distant, like his mind was somewhere else. Just until we get through this product launch, he'd promised last week. Once Brianna's up to speed, things will go back to normal, I swear. I'd believed him. I wanted to believe him. But tonight, lying awake while rain drummed harder, something felt wrong. The kind of wrong that sits in your stomach like a stone. I sat up suddenly. An idea was forming, the kind of spontaneous gesture the old Marcus would have loved. I would surprise him at the office, bring his favorite pizza from Giovanni's, the deep dish place we'd discovered on our first date 6 years ago. I checked the time. 12:03 a.m. He was probably still there, grinding away with Brianna. I could shower, get dressed, grab the pizza, and be at his office by 1 a.m. 20 minutes later, I was dressed in jeans and Marcus's favorite sweater of mine. Giovanni's was still open, thank God. I ordered his usual, deep dish pepperoni and mushroom, extra cheese. While I waited, I texted him, "Hope the work grind is going okay. You're amazing, you know that? Heart." No response. He was probably deep in training mode with Brianna. Pizza in hand, I drove through the rain-slicked streets toward the Whitman and Associates building in the Loop. I parked and made my way to the main entrance, using my jacket to shield the pizza from the rain. The lobby was empty except for a security guard at the desk, an older man, maybe in his 60s, with kind eyes and deep smile lines. "Evening," he said warmly. "Here to see someone?" "Yeah, my boyfriend, Marcus Reed, 8th floor, marketing department." I held up the pizza box with a smile. "Late-night fuel delivery." Something shifted in his expression. The warmth flickered, replaced by something that looked like pity. "What's your name, sweetheart?" he asked gently. "Sophie," Sophie Morrison. I felt a flutter of unease. Is something wrong? He sighed, heavy and deep, and leaned forward. Sophie, honey, I don't want to see you get hurt. You seem like a real nice person, bringing your man dinner this late and all. My stomach dropped. What do you mean? Mr. Reed, he paused, choosing words carefully. Sophie, honey, he hasn't been here past 9 o'clock in weeks, not once. He and that young woman he works with, Brianna, they leave together every night around 8:45, sometimes 9 at the latest. The pizza box suddenly felt heavy. That's not possible. He texts me from the office. He says he's here until midnight. I know what I see, he said quietly, sympathy in his eyes. Every night for the past month or so, they leave together, laughing, standing real close. Tonight wasn't any different. The lobby tilted. Where do they go? He hesitated. You didn't hear this from me, but I've seen them head toward that wine bar around the corner, Vino Rosso. They share an umbrella in the rain. He paused. They share more than that, honey. I'm sorry. You deserve better than lies. I couldn't breathe. Where's this wine bar? Don't do this to yourself, he said gently. Go home. Let yourself be angry there, in private. But I was already moving toward the doors. Which way? He sighed. Left out the building, half a block down. Then, as I pushed through, leave the pizza, sweetheart. Nobody should carry their heart and a pizza through that kind of pain. I stopped, turned back. He was watching me with those sad, knowing eyes. I walked back and set the pizza box down carefully. You should eat it, I said, my voice steady. He's lost his appetite. So have you, he said softly, but you'll get it back. I promise you that. The rain had picked up, soaking through my jacket within seconds. I barely noticed. My feet carried me left down the sidewalk, scanning for the wine bar sign. There, Vino Rosso, in elegant script above a warmly lit window. Through the rain-streaked glass, I could see couples at small tables, candlelight, intimate atmosphere. I should have turned around, but my feet kept moving. I stopped about 20 feet from the entrance, partially hidden behind a parked car, and that's when I saw them. Marcus and a woman who must be Brianna, standing under the bar's awning, sharing a black umbrella decorated with white stars. The umbrella tilted toward Brianna, keeping her mostly dry while rain dripped onto Marcus's shoulder. He didn't seem to notice or care. Brianna was young, mid-20s, with long auburn hair and a laugh I could hear even through the rain. She was gorgeous in that effortless way, wearing a red dress that somehow looked perfect on a rainy Thursday night. But I was focused on Marcus. My Marcus, wearing the navy blazer I'd helped him pick out last month. My Marcus, who'd kissed me goodbye this morning. My Marcus, who I'd been worried about, who I'd thought was overworked and exhausted. He looked happier than I'd seen him in months. They stood close, shoulders touching. Marcus said something that made Brianna laugh, throwing her head back with delight. Then Brianna reached up, tucked a strand of wet hair behind his ear, and Marcus caught her hand, held it against his cheek. The gesture was so intimate, so tender, that I felt it like a physical blow. I told myself to look away, but I couldn't move. Brianna said something, her lips close to his ear. Marcus smiled, that real smile I'd been missing. Then Brianna leaned in and Marcus met her halfway, and they were kissing. Not a quick peck, a real kiss, the kind that speaks of familiarity and desire and connection. Marcus's hand came up to cup her face, and Brianna's fingers tangled in his wet hair, and they kissed like people who'd been doing this for a while, like people who were in love. I watched Marcus kiss Brianna with a passion I hadn't experienced in months. When had he last kissed me like that? Like I was oxygen and he was drowning. I couldn't remember. The kiss broke and they stayed close, foreheads touching, sharing breath and smiles and secrets I would never be part of. Marcus said something, and Brianna laughed again, that bright laugh of someone who doesn't know their happiness is built on someone else's heartbreak. That's when it truly hit me. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This was a relationship. Marcus had been living a double life for weeks. Every late-night text, every apology for missing dinner, every exhausted excuse, all lies. He hadn't been working overtime. He'd been building something new with someone else while I sat at home worried about his stress levels. I'd been the perfect girlfriend to someone who'd stopped being my boyfriend weeks ago without telling me. The rain came down harder, plastering my hair to my face. I was shivering, though I couldn't tell if it was from cold or shock. Marcus and Brianna finally separated, though Brianna kept one hand linked with his. They looked at each other like teenagers in love. Then Brianna kissed his cheek, said something that made Marcus grin, and walked away down the street, heels clicking against wet pavement. Marcus watched her go with an expression I recognized because it used to be directed at me. Longing, joy, that giddy feeling of early love. Then Marcus turned, collapsed the umbrella, and walked toward the parking garage where he'd left his car, toward the car he'd drive home to our apartment, where he'd crawl into our bed and tell me he was exhausted from training Brianna. I stood there in the rain, watching him walk away from his other life and back toward the lie that was mine, and I realized something with perfect clarity. I wasn't going to confront him. What was there to say? I'd seen the truth. He'd made his choice. Confrontation would give him the chance to explain, apologize, make promises he wouldn't keep. I didn't want his explanations or tears or promises. I wanted to not be standing in the rain watching the person I loved walk away from a kiss that should have been mine. I turned and walked back toward my car, feet splashing through puddles I didn't bother avoiding. By the time I reached my car, I'd made a decision. I drove to my best friend Alicia's apartment in Wicker Park. She answered in pajamas, eyes widening when she saw me soaked and shivering. "Sophie? Jesus, what happened?" She pulled me inside, reaching for towels. "Can I stay here tonight? Maybe a few nights? I can't go home." "Of course, always." She wrapped a towel around my shoulders. "What's going on?" "Marcus is fine. Better than fine." I laughed harshly. "He's in love."
Yeah, with you. With someone else. The words came out flat. "I saw them tonight. Marcus and his assistant. They were kissing outside a wine bar while I stood in the rain holding his favorite pizza." Alicia's mouth fell open. "No, Marcus would never—" "I saw them, Lish." I sank onto her couch. "The security guard told me they've been leaving together every night for weeks, all those late nights. All lies." "That fucking asshole." Alicia's voice was sharp with anger. "Where is he now?" "Probably on his way home. He doesn't know I know." I pulled the towel tighter. "He'll text soon saying he's leaving the office, then he'll come home and get into bed and lie some more." "You're not seriously thinking of pretending you don't know." "I'm thinking of leaving." The words surprised me, but I knew they were true. I can't go back there. I can't lie in bed next to him knowing what I know. I can't listen to more excuses. I can't do it. Alicia sat next to me, taking my hands. "You can stay here as long as you need. But Sophie, don't you want to tell him you know? He owes you an explanation." "He doesn't owe me anything," I said quietly. "He made his choice. Every single night for weeks, he chose Brianna over me. He chose lying over honesty. He chose not me." My voice broke. "He chose not me, Lish." That's when the tears came, great racking sobs. Alicia held me while I cried, stroking my hair and murmuring, "I've got you. Let it out. You're going to be okay." My phone buzzed. Marcus's name. "Leaving now. Sorry again for the late night. Love you." I stared at those 2 words at the end. Love you. How many lies could you fit into 8 letters? I didn't respond.
I silenced my phone and set it face down. I need to get my stuff from the apartment. My laptop, work files, clothes. Can you come with me tomorrow while he's at work? Of course. Alicia squeezed my hand. Should you leave him a note so he knows you're gone? I thought about Marcus coming home to an empty apartment, calling over and over, panicking. For a moment, I felt satisfaction at the thought of him worrying. But then I thought about the security guard's kind eyes, about the pizza I'd left on his desk. I'll leave a note, I said finally, just so he knows I'm safe. But that's it. No explanations. I'm just done. Alicia nodded, worry in her eyes. She thought I was making a mistake, that I'd regret not getting closure. Maybe she was right. Maybe someday I'd wish I'd confronted Marcus, demanded to know why I wasn't enough. But right now, all I wanted was to not hurt anymore. And talking to Marcus would only make it hurt more. So I wouldn't. I'd pack my things, leave a note, and walk away from 6 years without looking back. It wasn't brave, it probably wasn't even healthy, but it was all I had the strength to do. The next morning, we waited until 8:30 a.m., after Marcus left for work, before heading to the apartment. I'd barely slept, my phone buzzing with increasingly concerned texts. Where are you? Are you okay? Sophie, please answer me. I'm worried. This isn't funny. Call me back. At 7 a.m., I'd finally sent, I'm fine. I need space. Don't call. His response was immediate. Space? What are you talking about? Where are you? I'd turned my phone off. Now, standing outside our building with Alicia, I felt sick. This place had been home for 4 years. Every corner held memories that now felt tainted by lies. You ready? Alicia asked gently. I nodded and unlocked the door. The apartment looked the same. Marcus's coffee mug in the sink, the blanket we shared folded on the couch, a framed photo of us from last summer on the bookshelf. Had he already been seeing Brianna then? I moved mechanically, packing my things into suitcases and boxes, clothes, toiletries, my laptop, books, art supplies. 6 years of shared life reduced to belongings that would fit in Alicia's SUV. Almost done, Alicia said. You want the photo albums? I looked at the shelf of memories. Ticket stubs, postcards, photos from birthdays and holidays. Leave them, I said. He can decide what to do with them. The last thing I packed was the Northwestern sweater he'd bought me. I held it for a moment, remembering her excitement when she'd given it to me. I folded it carefully and left it on the bed. Then I sat at the kitchen table with paper and pen and wrote, Marcus, I know about Brianna. I know about the wine bar, the umbrella, the kisses. I know the late nights weren't about overtime. I know you've been lying to me for weeks. I'm not angry. I'm not going to yell or demand explanations. You already chose. Every night you told me you were working while you were with her, you chose. Every morning you kissed me goodbye knowing you'd kiss her that night, you chose. I loved you, past tense, because the person I loved wouldn't have done this. That person wouldn't have made me worry while he was falling in love with someone else. That person wouldn't have let me be the perfect girlfriend to a relationship that only existed in my head. I hope you're happy with Brianna. I hope what you have with her is worth what you threw away. And I hope someday you'll understand why I'm leaving this way, quietly, without giving you the chance to explain or make promises we both know you wouldn't keep. I deserve better than being someone's backup plan. I deserve better than lies. Don't contact me. It's over. I read it twice, then left it on the table where he'd see it immediately. My hands shook as I picked up the last box. Alicia was waiting in the hallway. You okay? No, I said honestly, but I will be. We loaded everything into our car and I took one final look at the building. Then I got in the passenger seat and we drove away. My phone started ringing immediately. Marcus's name flashed on the screen. He'd probably gotten home early, read my note. I declined the call and blocked his number. Then I blocked his email, social media, every possible contact. It felt brutal and final and absolutely necessary. "Where to?" Alicia asked at a red light. I had no apartment, no plan, no idea what came next. All I had was a car full of belongings, a best friend who loved me, and the terrifying freedom of a blank slate. "I don't know," I admitted. "Somewhere new, somewhere that doesn't smell like his cologne or remind me of his lies." "How about we start with coffee?" Alicia suggested with a small smile. "We'll figure out the rest from there." I nodded, surprised I could smile back. It was small and shaky, but it was real. We drove through Chicago in the morning light, leaving behind the apartment and the lies and the life I'd thought I was building. My phone was silent now, Marcus's blocked number unable to reach me. The security guard had been right. What I didn't see couldn't hurt me more than what I had seen. But he'd also promised something else, that I'd get my appetite back, that the pain would fade, that I'd survive this. I wasn't sure I believed him yet, but as Alicia pulled into a coffee shop and turned to me with determined hope in her eyes, I thought maybe I could try.